Hey guys, what's up? Today we are out at the range doing a first look at the Dead Air Odessa-9. Let's get into it. Alright, so the Dead Air Odessa-9. I have debated and debated and debated whether or not I should get this, leave it alone, do different things with it. I've got some stuff I want to really do with it, and it was specifically this suppressor that would work with that. And so I decided I'd go ahead and get it. It's terrible, it's terrible. So anyway, the Odessa-9, the specific role, whenever I deal with people looking for a new gun or deal with most things gun-related, I try to figure out what is it for, right? Because you're not going to use a bulldozer to run a NASCAR race, right? But you wouldn't use a NASCAR to demolish a building, right? It just wouldn't work. It's the same with gun stuff, same with suppressors. Certain things are specific built. They're built specifically to do specific things. I have, where did it go? Somewhere. The Omega 9K. This suppressor is a very good suppressor when it comes to suppressing 9mm, 300 blackout, even 7.62x39. It does a pretty good job at those, but does a very good job at subguns, right? MP5s. I've got another gun right here. This is a 4-inch barrel, like an AR MP5 mix thing, kind of whatever. But 9mm PCCs, this does a phenomenal job. It also does a really good job at being a pistol suppressor, although it's a little large. Another can from Dead Air that I have is the Wolfman, right? This is another reason I debated. Wow, it's making a lot of squeaks. I debated getting the Odessa because I already have a Wolfman, which is a very, very good PCC can. Right now it's in the short configuration. You can make it a little bit longer. You can do a lot of really cool stuff with this, and it sounds really good. It sounds really good, in my opinion, especially if you start using subs. Sounds really, really good. So, where does the Odessa-9, where does it even fit in? Why would I even get it? Well, this is almost a purpose-built can, kind of like the AEM5, right? The Allen Engineering, the suppressor for the Mark 12, right? That is a specific built suppressor that does a fantastic job at suppressing Black Hills 262, right? The 77 grain stuff out of a Mark 12. That thing is a jewel to shoot. It is fun, it is quiet, it works, it's just great. In my opinion, I can't speak more highly than that. It's really, really good. So, the Odessa is specific for 9mm pistols. It's made to be smaller in diameter so that you don't have to use suppressor height sights, because it's only like a 1.1 inch diameter, very thin. That's one of its biggest claim to fames. And every review I hear of this thing, everybody points that out. But it is very true. It's a big difference when you look at the diameter of these things. Very, very big difference. This gets a lot of volume, right? If you stretched it out over this guy, I'm not sure if the volumes are the same or not. I don't know. But this guy's fat and short. This guy's long and skinny. Make jokes if you want. I don't care. Another thing about this is that it's modular. You see, you've got 10 different, I thought it was 11, but I guess it's 10. So it's 10 different baffles, and you can take these out, make it shorter, make it this long if you want maximum suppression, or if you want to shrink it down to a manageable size for whatever your purposes might be, okay? The idea also on this is that it is not just a 9mm can. You can shoot anything 9mm and below, right? If you measure diameters and things, right? This is my view of this thing. This is definitely not coming from Dead Air. But if you measure the last 3 of these baffles, including the end cap, you can drop a 40 or a 10mm cartridge, the entire cartridge, not just the bullet, but the cartridge through there, and it will fall through. I don't think I'm brave enough to shoot it, but the reason they did that is they made it so it's kind of like some AK cans out there where the inside bore opens up as it gets further along to try to aid in not having baffle strikes. That's my understanding of it. Could you shoot maybe 40, 10mm through here? Maybe someday I'll get brave enough and try it. That day is not today. But it's not really made for that kind of stuff. It's made for the 9mm stuff. Not really made for, my understanding, 300 blackout or any of those other things. This is a pistol can. You can shoot 9mm, you can shoot 22 through it, because each one of these baffles comes off and you can user service it. Now, it's very overboard for 22. I don't have a 22 out with me today to try it on. I suspect it'd still be pretty stinging loud. I don't know if you could get an end cap that's 22. That might be something I'd do later on. Try to get one made or whatever. I don't know, that might help. I don't know. That's another reason that I got this, to kind of play around with it and see what's going on. So, but anyway, enough of me jibber-jabbing about it. Some cool stuff you do get with it. Everybody talks about the cigar case. Yes, that's true. You get the little end cap tool, which is nice. They include that. It already has 2 shims in it. When it came, there were 2 shims in it, and I have a third one that's just made for having more or less tension on the can to help it cycle properly. You do not get these. These are for another can. But you do get these tools, right, that are used in taking the can apart, cleaning it, mounting it, doing all that kind of stuff. So that's nice. It came with the tools that you need. Because sometimes people try to make you have to buy tools. That's not really fun. So anyway, we're going to wrap all this stuff up. This thing is really squeaky. There we go. Alright, so all that gets all wrapped up. We're going to try out a couple different things today. We have the Glock 48 2.0 that I have, not the MOS, right? So, right, the Kaplan slide, Holosun, Suarez sights, Brownell's barrel, Griffin armament cam lock. Talk about that in just a second, and some other stuff on the lower. And then on a 19 size, right, this is a Brownell slide, War Poet barrel, Griffin armament, again, cam lock, the Swamp Fox, and this is an 80% arms, I believe, frame, right? So this would be kind of fun to shoot. Both of these should be kind of fun to shoot. They're both in 9mm, so that should be pretty fun. One thing to note before we get into shooting, well, I'll say this, then we'll get to shooting. This does not come with the cam lock, the Griffin armament cam lock piston, right? This does come with a piston, a 1/2x28 piston, so kudos to them. They didn't skip you out on that, but this does have a piston in here. And it comes with 1/2x28, which, because 9mm, that's generally what you're gonna have. I don't know of any pistols that are, what's the term I'm looking for? Mass-produced pistols. I'm sure there's some boutique pistols out there that have different threads and stuff, whatever. But most of them are gonna be 1/2x28. But in my opinion, for pistol stuff, get the cam lock. This makes things so much simpler when it comes to mounting and unmounting suppressors to pistols. There's no more of the spinning. That drives me nuts. And they come loose. This guy doesn't come loose. So that's something else. If you're going to get pistol suppressors, you might want to look into the Griffin armament cam lock. All right, let's shoot this. We'll shoot it full size. Why not? And then actually, for kicks and giggles, we'll start from 0 and we'll work our way up. We'll shoot it on the we'll shoot it on this guy, on the 48 first. Shoot it from 0 all the way up. We're shooting Tula today. I don't have any subs. I do not think. I might have some buried somewhere, but I don't think I do. So, regular 115 grain bulk ammo. Let's do it. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna wear Ear Pro, mainly because we're dealing with a suppressor that I've never shot before, so I don't know exactly how it sounds. And also, we're starting from nothing and working our way up. So hopefully, I'm gonna check my audio. Audio is rolling. Sometimes that mic is not on when I'm thinking it's on. So we're just gonna fire 2 rounds. That way we'll have a first round pop, if there is a first round pop, and then the subsequent shot. So we're gonna take the suppressor itself with nothing but an end cap. Put that guy on. We're not gonna shoot steel, we're gonna shoot down there in the dirt. There are rocks down there, so there could be some stuff, some bouncing around, I guess, whatever. But 2 shots off into the dirt, end cap only. Okay, locked it open. All right, 2 rounds, 1 baffle. There you go, locked open. 2 baffles, 2 shots. Yeah, that's a little hot. That's a little hot. All right, 3 baffles. Ooh, now that actually sounded louder. And that did not want to cycle either. That sounded pretty loud. All right, 4 baffles. This is what everybody that I hear do these things say. 4 baffles is kind of as low as you're going to go, as small as you're going to get with significant hearing reduction. All right. It's not bad. It's really not bad. 5 baffles. It's not bad. Did lock open. That's good. All right, 6 baffles. Magazine is not wanting to work. 6 baffles. Doesn't sound significantly different than the 5 baffles, but is what it is. All right, 7 baffles. Oh, feeding problem. Not bad. Now the can's getting kind of hot. All right, 8 baffles. Almost to the end. Another feeding problem. It's not bad. 9 baffles. Okay, that sounded better. Yep, that sounded better, actually. All right, last but not least, 10 baffles. This is all shot dry, but this is the last one's 10 baffles, the full stack. Feeding, man. Feeding problems. All right, so at 10, locked it back that time, at 10 baffles and at 9 baffles, it actually sounds pretty decent. Now, this is probably the worst way to do this because, again, we're in kind of a valley. I'm shooting into a hole in the ground, basically, and so there's a lot of echo that's going to be going on. Also, I started out from 0 and worked my way up and probably took my ears off a little bit too early, so I can feel some pressure and stuff, so maybe not the best idea to do it that way. But let's do something. Let's compare some stuff real quick. These are different cans, right? Like I already talked about the Omega 9K. So let's shoot the Omega 9K on like a Glock 19, and basically barrel length size, these are the same thing, basically. So sound-wise, these should be pretty much the same thing. There might be slight differences in lockup, but I don't know if that's really going to play that big of a deal. So we will do we'll do 3 rounds on each gun, and we'll just see how it rolls. All right, 3 rounds on each gun. This Magpul magazine sometimes gives me finicky problems, so we might just have a bunch of malfunctions today. I don't know. But that was 3 rounds, right? Yes, 3 rounds. We'll start out 3 rounds with the Omega 9K, and then we'll do 3 rounds with the full-size Odessa. I mean, that sounds pretty good to me. That's a very, very good can, if you ask me. But now, 3 rounds in the Wolfman full length. It's hard to say if one is actually super much quieter than the other when it comes to just ears, right? It's a personal thing, right? Or it's a subjective thing, right? Because every person can be just a little bit different and hear things a little bit different. My hearing has been damaged over the years. You know, maybe your hearing hasn't. But it is what it is. They sound, ooh, we had a malfunction there. They sound pretty much the same. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a little wire pulling gel. If anybody knows anything about this stuff, if you put any kind of bladed material, any liquid, right, you could pee in it if you really wanted to. Water, in general, you want some kind of a water-based thing, right? Either petroleum jelly, some people use that. I like this stuff. This stuff's cheap, it's easy, it's just like a big wad of snot, and it's water basically, so it's gonna dry out and kind of go away. Wow, it's vomiting right now. But if you put a little bit of this, something like that snot wad, right? You put a little bit of that in a suppressor. I don't know what magic it does, but it waves a magic wand and it tells the things to be a little bit quieter in general. Again, I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that it does do something. So in general, you put it down towards the back end of the can, and in general, it will lower your decibels. In general. So what we're going to do is we're going to do both of these again. 3 rounds. Again, these are supersonic, full power bullets. Nothing subsonic, nothing special. Omega 9K, wet. Alright. That's pretty good. If you ask me, those are pretty quiet. Those are pretty stinking quiet. Now, first time shooting the full-size 10 baffle wet. I almost said Omega 9K. It's not an Omega 9K. It's the Odessa9 full-size wet. Again, they sound very similar. You can tell that that blade of material, it does knock down decibels. It sucks away that noise somehow. Again, it's just magic, voodoo, and whatever. But it does work. It actually does knock down decibels and makes things a lot more bearable. The benefit of using either like white lithium grease or some kind of a thing that's going to sit in your can for a while, like this stuff will sit in your can, is you could store it that way. And then when you need the gun, it's not like it's all dripped out. Like you could just put water in the can and it would do the same thing, but it's gonna drip itself out and make a big mess. And you'll get a bunch of extra blowback in your face if you're not careful. All right, so since we like comparing things, what we're gonna do real quick, and then we'll wrap this up as a first thoughts and first looks, whatever, at this can. What we're gonna do real quick is we're going to knock both of these down, or not both of them down. The Omega 9K is not modular. We're gonna knock the Odessa9, man, they both have a 9 and they both start with an O. That's very confusing. Believe it or not, that's very confusing. We're gonna reapply our go-go juice, right? A little squirt of snot in there. Kind of let that work its way down. A little squirt of snot in there. Kind of work its way down. Okay. What we're gonna do is we knocked the Odessa9 down to pretty much as close to the same length. These are pretty close to the same length as each other. So lengthwise, they're the same. Girth-wise or thickness, whatever term you want to use, the Omega 9K definitely has this guy beat. So we'll shoot these guys on the same gun. So so now we're gonna have feeding issues and that's gonna cause problems. We'll do the Omega 9K first. So Omega 9K, 3 rounds, wet. Okay, pretty decent. If you ask me, it's pretty decent. Odessa9, 4 baffles. Odessa9, 4 baffles, wet. All right, guys. So there you go. That's a quick little first look at the Odessa9, shooting it in all the different configurations. Not both wet and dry, but we did shoot it both wet and dry. Not all configurations wet and dry. All configurations dry, and then kind of comparing it just slightly to a specific dedicated pistol can. Right. This is a pistol can. It is a pistol can. Works really well as a PCC can, but it works as a pistol can as well. But this is a dedicated pistol can. I think there's some potential for something like this. Something that doesn't require you to have suppressor height sights, right? Something that is compact, right? That's a catchword these days, but compact. And it is small, and it does snatch away those decibels enough to make it pleasant to shoot. More pleasant to shoot, right? This is not a 22. If you've ever heard a wet suppressed 22, you'll fall in love with that thing. That thing is better than shooting a BB gun. I mean, it is very pleasant. That is pleasant to shoot. This knocks it down and makes it more pleasant to shoot, right? And there's not a whole lot of weight added. This thing does not weigh a terrible whole lot, and whenever you're shooting the gun, you barely even feel that it's there because you don't see it. It's the benefit to the whole thing. You don't see it, but it snatches away some of that decibels. So I could see some practical use to this. I've got some plans to do some things with this that I think would be really cool. And we'll see if it happens. It may happen, may not. And if it does, then my Patreon people will be the first to hear about it. So if you want to hear what's going on, pretty much I try to be pretty much every week and kind of give a live-ish update. Not live like I'm on live, but, you know, what's actually going on. Go check out my Patreon if you want to check out that stuff. And everybody else, I just appreciate you watching, subscribing, everything. I hope you found this interesting. If you have questions about the Odessa9, right, or the Omega 9K, but the Odessa9 is what we're talking about today. If you got questions about it, let me know. I'll do my best to answer those for you. And we will return and do a little bit more testing with this as far as round count. wet in different configurations and stuff like that, and subsonic. I got to get my hands on some subsonic, and I think that will actually be pretty cool. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Y'all be good to be safe, and hopefully we will catch y'all in the next video.